The senior, a strange creature, one whose behavior has been studied and analyzed by many. Today, we approach this curious life form from a new angle, calculus. We begin with an analysis of the senior's changing behavior through time. The key factor that affects senior behavior is the change in its mass over time. However, the anomalous nature of the senior causes mass to be represented psychologically rather than physically. One might think of a senior's psychological mass as its willpower or motivation. In general, the senior's psychological mass increases steadily over the course of the first semester. It rises sharply at the end, then drops exponentially in the second semester. This graph is a simple model. Anomalies in the more complex version include spikes at the end of October and in late April or early May. These local maxima are thought to correspond to increases in willpower from early application deadlines, homecoming, and AP testing. Another phenomenon is the frequency of inexplicable removable discontinuities on the graph increases over time, most prominently at the end of the AP testing spike. The second derivative remains positive throughout the year. However, the first derivative changes sign 5 times during the year, resulting in many fluctuations with sudden peaks and drops. As time passes, the length of time during which the first derivative is negative increases, showing clearly that the general trend of second semester seniors is downwards. To analyze the effect of mass changes on seniors' energy level, we must first give an overview of the calculus of variable factor products. Those viewers who have studied physics may be familiar with the concept of work done by a variable force. In the first diagram, the work is directly proportional to the displacement. In the second diagram, the work varies with distance. However, at any given point, the work can be seen as directly proportional to the displacement at that given point. The same is true of models of a senior's behavior. Since the senior's actions vary with time, the graphs must be analyzed with that variation in mind. Rather than using work, force, and distance, our model uses energy, mass, and time. Since potential energy due to gravity is equal to mgh and kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 mv squared, energy can be seen as a function of mass, where 1/2 v squared plus gh is assumed to be constant with the value k. For the purposes of this explanation, we will use a simplified form of the formula for mass as a function of time. To find energy as a function of time, we use the relationship E is equal to Km. Since K is constant, the derivative of E is equal to K times the derivative of M. Take the derivative of M, substitute in the derivative of E, and solve for E. This yields a graph in which the relationship between E and M is determined by K. Total energy shows a strong correlation with total mass. In the first semester, increased energy manifests itself in rising stress levels and increased pressure. In the second semester, a change in energy level causes seniors to modify their behavior accordingly, dropping homework assignments or turning them in late and arriving late or cutting classes. This model also applies differently to different people. In general, seniors with lower initial motivation experience higher changes. However, below a certain threshold, their motivation level remains relatively unchanged. Above a certain threshold, they are relatively unaffected by all changes. We will now discuss a few notable phenomena within the life of the senior, highlighting the calculus of the senior homecoming victory, the well-known territorial call, "Ooh, ah, you wish you were a senior," and college acceptance gossip. Now, homecoming is a particularly rowdy time for these creatures. This week creates surges of testosterone and endorphins and increased levels of excitement. The interesting trend of senior excitement can be seen in this limit graph. For a number delta greater than 0, such that if x is within delta units of c, but not equal to c, then the function of x is greater than epsilon. As the week wears on and the date approaches the Friday of homecoming week, or C, the excitement of seniors increases exponentially. However, as soon as Friday passes and teachers begin to administer tests that had been pushed back, the excitement of seniors drop as quickly as it had risen. And now we will cover the intriguing territorial call of the senior. Commonly heard when the seniors defend their pride and territory from cocky juniors or young freshmen, this call is certainly one you want to cover your ears when hearing. It can be represented by a simple sinusoidal curve. When an object flexes in and out, in this case the senior's vocal cords, the movement affects the surrounding air particles. The outward movements cause the particles to compress, while the inward movement causes the particles to move away from one another. The alternating inward and outward flexing causes a series of high, then low pressure regions that form a pressure wave. This wave is then interpreted by our brains as sound. The standard equation for a sinusoidal curve is y is equal to a sine bx minus c plus d, where a is amplitude and b divided by 2 pi is frequency. The greater the amplitude, the louder the sound, and the greater the frequency, the higher the pitch. The senior's call can be modeled by the equation 24,000 sine 500 pi times t, while the youngster freshman, who can only pitifully imitate the ferocious roar of the senior, can be modeled by 1,000 sine 1,000 pi times t. As college decisions roll around, college admissions become the hot topic of whispered secrets and hushed discussions. We tracked a senior who got into Berkeley. That person told the decision to 2 of his friends. Though he told them, "Don't tell anybody," the seniors, being creatures of fickle promise-keeping, told 2 more people each. Those 2 people then each told 2 more people, and so on and so forth. The strange urge to pass around information can be modeled by the summation sum of a sub naught times r to the n minus 1 power, where n is equal to 1 and the limit is infinity. In this case, a sub naught is equal to 1 and r is equal to 2. The y-axis is the total people who know about the senior's college acceptance, and the x-axis is time. As time passes, the number of people who know where he's going to college increases exponentially. However, it is important to note that the total number of people who know about a college acceptance is also inversely proportional to the accuracy of the statement. So by the end of the school year, everyone will know he'll be attending the University of Zimbabwe with a major in feminist literature. We hope you have enjoyed this rare glimpse into the life of the senior. The senior is certainly a worthy creature for investigation. Join us next time for an analysis of behavioral changes in college freshmen.